My net worth should be over. I also hold a lot of machines, a lot of like inventory. So I would say over just to keep it in that, in that range. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today I have a little bit of a different video. Before we continue with the Everything is a Business series, I thought I would answer some questions. I got some people to ask me some questions on my Instagram, and I'm just going to be answering some of them today. So the first question is, what's the biggest lesson you've learned as a business owner? I don't know if I have a single one, but I would say that patience, honestly. I know it sounds pretty whack. I mean, patience is probably the biggest thing. I think that, a lot of times I get desperate, and making businesses work in like a week, a month, 6 months. And I don't really see, especially before, I didn't really see like the long-term effects that business could have, when in reality, for example, now, the business that, or the way that I generate a lot of my money, or the one single thing that I do that generates most of my money, or the most money, it's the thing that I've been doing for the longest, right? And a lot of those things are like my personal skills, things that, I've acquired for years, for 8-10 years. And it's like, it's a lot easier to make money from that. It's a lot easier to get customers from that. And, a lot of referrals and things like that. So I would say the biggest lesson is that, patience. I didn't have any patience, when I was younger. And that actually affects a lot as you get older, because you can reap the benefits. I'm reaping a lot of benefits for the things that I actually waited on. I'm supposed to just like let go. So that's that. What's the biggest mistake you've made as a business owner? It's kind of a similar question. The biggest mistake, that's another tough one, because if I tell you the biggest mistake, usually after that big mistake, there was like a big lesson, and like something that actually made me just so much better, or made the business so much better. Like, for example, the biggest mistake I've made, I thought it was selling my restaurant, right? And at the end of the day, when I sold my restaurant, I also, I was able to just clear up a lot of my time, clear my mind. I was able to be a lot more free, just like I said, mentally. And I don't know. And I think it was a good decision. And I've done a lot of things after that came from that. So, but at the same time, I mean, I don't think it was a big mistake, because sometimes I regret selling the businesses and I want to open up another restaurant. And I don't know, biggest mistake, I'd say maybe selling my restaurant. But I think that every mistake just comes with like a big lesson, and you just got to grow from that. And I think that every big mistake was just such a big lesson, and I grew from that. So there's really no mistakes. Not really anything that I could think of like that. At least not that I regret to a point where like, oh my God, like I wish it never happened, How to keep your employees motivated. Now, I talk about this a lot, There's only so much you could do, but the best way to position yourself and your company to motivate your employees is make sure you're always talking to them. Make sure you know what actually keeps them motivated. There's people that get motivated by just money. There's people that get motivated by freedom, flexibility, spending time with their kids, spending time with their family, spending time with their, significant other. As long as you facilitate that and are able to like align that with your company goals, employee goals, that's really the best way to keep your employees motivated. There's employees that all they want to do is just keep learning, and if you have classes, if you do seminars, if you pay for some classes, pay for a lot of these like lessons or things that they can learn, it's going to keep them motivated, because they know that you understand that they want to keep learning and keep growing. So that's a really good way to keep employees motivated. Just make sure you're always talking to them. Make sure you know what's going on with your employees. If you never talk to them, there's no way you're going to be able to motivate them. What is your all-time favorite business venture? See, again, my all-time favorite business venture might be the restaurant. It was super stressful, but at the same time, I loved my restaurant. I love to being able to eat all the time in there. I didn't have to think about food. I could just eat all the time, and I sold all the food that I loved, so it was great. I always had a fun team working there. If I had a meeting, people could just come and talk there. It was kind of like my home, and I could be there literally from morning to night. I was there from morning to night, so I would say that's probably my favorite one, but also the most pain in the ass. What would your net worth be if you added up all of the income from your businesses over the years? Well, net worth, I guess, different ways to calculate net worth, different ways to calculate, especially when you have businesses involved. If we sat 10 people in this room and we told them to evaluate or to value each one of my businesses, we'll all have like different numbers. So there's so many ways you could value, a business. Right now I have 4 businesses that I'm either, full owner or part owner on it. I have probably on top of that, like maybe another 5 income streams, maybe a little bit more. So it's very hard. I think if you add it up, very simple math. I mean, I would say my net worth should be over $1 million. I also hold a lot of machines, a lot of like inventory. So I would say over $1 million, just to keep it in that, in that range. I do want to make a video on that at some point, but that's a long video because if you talk about assets, liabilities, I mean, I have a whole bunch of both, especially with 4 businesses and like so many different like income streams. It gets complicated. But my net worth, just to be clear, most of my net worth is in my businesses. I invest mostly everything back into my businesses. I don't really buy anything crazy. Like I don't really do anything like that. So everything mostly is in my businesses. What other industry businesses are you interested in getting into? I always wanted to get into technology, and I don't really have anything with technology, but that's an industry that I want to get into. Other than that, I've been in the restaurant industry and food industry. Maybe I'll get back into that at some point once I can actually have, people and systems in place that I don't have to. It doesn't occupy that much like space in my head. But technology, definitely a good industry that I want to get into. Yeah, that's about it. But I'm down to get into any industry, and I actually think that I'll eventually be in like almost every single industry. That's the goal as a business owner, as like a true entrepreneur. I want to know every industry and be part of a lot of the industries. What business did you have the most fun with? Again, I think that's similar to the other question. I think the restaurant I had the most fun in, honestly. What business brought you the most stress, and do you regret it at all? So it's funny because the business that I had the most fun in, which was the restaurant, Chicken Bullet, that was also the one that brought me the most stress. So again, that's just what happens. It brought me a lot of stress. Why? Because even though I didn't do a lot of the work, even though, at one point I did have a manager, a lot of that stuff, since I had the most employees in that business, I think I had at one point like 15 employees. Hearing all the employees' problems, being so close to, the scheduling, and the way I ran the business was really tight. So like if one person called out, like in one station, like it was very hard to replace them. And a lot of those things just kind of like, it got pretty stressful, especially when I found out, people's problems, and people would come to me with a lot of those problems. It was one of those businesses that stressing, The last question, what is the best thing you've been able to purchase because of your success? I think success is like a thing that you keep pursuing, kind of like happiness, like are you ever really happy? I think success is like, like an ongoing thing. So that to say that like I'm not saying I am completely successful or that I am not successful. I think that I will keep pursuing success and just try to live, my life how I want. And that is really the best thing that I've been able to purchase, which is not one single thing, but just, the freedom of like, back in the days, I used to think about before going out to eat because I didn't have any money. Or like if I'm going to the movies, like I can only afford like the movie ticket and not like the popcorn and stuff. So it's like now the fact that, I don't have to really think about what I buy, I know not to sound like arrogant, but like a lot of times when I'm at a store, like I don't even look at the price. Not that I'm rich, but it's just like I don't have to, if I'm not going, shopping for diamonds, like I don't have to look at the price, because like if it's just food, I don't care how much it really costs. Like I just get it, and I've just been able to do that, which is really the biggest thing, honestly, the best thing that comes with this, and being, having like businesses that can provide that for you. So yeah, I mean, the biggest thing, there's not one single biggest thing, honestly. The biggest thing that I've been able to buy is, start a bigger business. That's really what gets me. I've had, like nice cars that I like, and they're good to have. But again, nothing like just having that freedom every day to not really care about the small things like food, sleep, and going out and just having fun, or a regular life, not having to worry about, like, the money aspect is really the best thing that comes from like the success in business. So yep, that's it for the video today. Hope you guys like this style video. Wanted to do something a little different. I know, I always get a lot of these questions. Hope I answer them, in a way that you appreciate. So if you like this video, if you stayed the whole way, make sure you like the video and make sure you subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you on the next video.